Right, thank you very much.
Alright. Okay.
This is a test. People let us know if they can hear us.
Hello, hello.
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 Can't see the video yet.
I see Arcade Tim there. Hello, Arcade Tim.
Nice.
Alright, are we on? People can see us? There's always this uncertainty at the start of every live stream where we sit around going,
Hello, Robin.
Hello.
Hey.
I don't think I have the camera turned on yet.
Oh, that would
Alright.
explain it.
Add camera.
Alright.
Pretty us, look at that.
Yeah. Can still see it here.
I'm going to put us in this corner, covering the chat box. So that if I need to put in any GM commands, nobody can see what they are.
Yeah.
Super
And you got no friends anyway, right?
I don't have any friends.
Being such an asshole that you are.
People knocking my clothing taste? Look! Anarchy Online, baby! Keeping it real! Unbelievable!
That shirt just is an old school in it.
No, probably not. You're not pushing play, that's why you can't see the stream.
Ooh.
Alright. So I'm assuming we're on live. Everyone knows we're here. Hi, welcome. I'm assuming. Okay, you can just because I don't want to hear myself. Perfect. That's great. So yeah, my name is Joel Bylos. I'm the game director for The Secret World. Joining me on this live stream today is Eystein Eftevåg,
Thank you.
the lead coder, and this is David Tabacco,
Hello.
and he is our art producer.
Also known as the Italian stallion.
The Italian stallion, as he's known among the ladies in the office.
Yeah. Not just the ladies.
Well,
come on, please.
Well, exactly. Alright, so yeah, I mean, everyone's been a few topsy-turvy and exciting weeks for The Secret World, so we've been doing a lot of stuff back and forth. Lots of stuff that I put out this week, lots of interviews and conversations and stuff like that, so it's very exciting to be able to sort of show you guys a couple of the things that we've been talking about. Well, actually, we'll be showing you one of the things we've been talking about because we're playing in Egypt today, and I'll be showing you guys the Reticle mode. So I think we'll start getting into that, and while I'm doing this, I want to let you guys know that this is like what we consider this to be a beta feature at this point. It's something that we're adding to the game to give people a little more, a little more oomph in combat if that's what they're into. Allowing people to play the game a bit more the way that they would like to play it. We had a lot of requests for this in beta, a huge amount of requests.
Sounds like we have a distortion problem on the
Distortion
microphones.
problem? Yeah. Okay.
Can you try to turn off the music from the game?
Turn off.
And
That's louder. Yeah. Mute. Is that better, guys?
you still get staticky?
Better? Clearer? Nice.
Alright.
Alright. So yeah, we're going to show off the reticle targeting mode. This is an optional targeting mode that we are putting into the game. It was one of the things that everyone requested in beta. We wanted to sort of add this to the game and let you guys see what we have been working on, and it's mostly Eystein's feature because he's the guy who did all the work getting this in and in his spare time. So yeah, you can thank Eystein for this. So I'm just going to go ahead and get the time right. Or you can talk a little bit about why you wanted to put in reticle targeting mode, because it was a part of the original design for the game.
No, I mean, like way back, I don't remember exactly when, but it was a long time ago. We experimented with a lot of different control modes for the Secret World before we sort of settled on what we launched with. Reticle mode was one of them, and it's a mode that a lot of us really liked and really enjoyed because it gives the game a lot more of an actiony feel. Unfortunately, it will turn out to be very hard to sort of combine with the RPG system, that you have the 7 abilities, and it just wasn't accessible enough because, not having the cursor means that you can't really click on the shortcut bar, which a lot of people do. So, at the end we had to sort of go a bit more traditional, but since we all kind of love the reticle mode and, a lot of people in the beta were requesting it, figured, okay, why not just put it back in as an optional thing and see see what people think.
Right, so I'm going to put it on in a second, just doing a bit of normal combat, so we've got something as a basis for comparison. So, you know, the camera can zoom a little bit in normal combat, yet you tend to have the, you know, the top down. I tend to put it a little more isometric so I get a better view of my character. I'm using shotgun assault rifles today, by the way, and I'm band 10 in Egypt, which means that I'm more powerful than most of the mobs, which is fine. So if I die, it'll be very noobish, but that's fine. I'm quite noobish sometimes. So yeah, and I'm gonna, after I've beaten this guy, I'm gonna jump into the... I love this.
They're asking to turn down a little bit more the sound. Oh, I guess they can still hear
the game sound.
Yeah, the game sound.
Right, let me just pump it down a bit for you guys. Ooh, the master volume is high. What about there? Is that better, or is it still too loud?
It's a sweet spot. I guess we'll see.
3 is the sweet spot?
I guess people, yeah.
Sometimes 4 is better.
Sometimes 4 is better, if you know what I mean. Alright, so I'm going to jump into reticle targeting mode. So bear with me that this is like not how it will work exactly in the game, because we have to run a script to set the camera to the right distance at the moment. So we use the camera range script. That'll put us to an over-the-shoulder mode view, which means that we can set you'll be able to zoom in and out. And when you hit T, it loads up the reticle. Okay, and then this is basically the view mode. You can zoom in and out of the reticle, zoom in and out with that to set the distance from your character that you'd like. It gives you gets you a little closer to the action.
And of course, like the graphics, like for the reticle itself, is very much work in progress.
So the GUI team is actually improving how the reticle looks, but you know, it's pretty simple setup. You mouse over an enemy, it makes them your active target. It's a bit sticky, so that means you don't lose the target straight away. So you have to be off the target for a bit to lose them. So it's not like going to really have a huge performance impact in PvP or anything.
Go against dark backgrounds, because the brightness is. It's not easy to see the reticle. Go in darker areas. Yeah.
Why don't I pull a guy down here into the shade? Come down into the shade, my friend. So, yeah, it just puts you a bit closer to the action. I really like the sort of feeling of being able to, you know, dodge out of the way of things. I like the mode. It helps, especially with healers. It works well with friendly targets. It's very good for switching between friendly targets very quickly as well. So when you're fighting in a dungeon, for example, you can just mouse over. You just quickly target the friends, and they'll be made your friendly target, and then you go straight back to the enemy, and the enemy obviously stays as the target there. So it's kind of a cool little feature. And
there's also a button you can bind to sort of lock your target as well.
Yeah. There is a target lock button. Oh, hi guys. How you doing?
I remember how much we cried when we actually took it out.
We had to rip it out.
Yeah, I remember.
It was a sad day.
I actually wasn't on the TSW team when you guys had to rip out reticle combat.
It
was 2009. No, not even. Something like that. Maybe 2009.
It was right after I moved to Montreal, so...
Okay, then...
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that today we're coming to you from Montreal.
Yes.
I'm visiting the team over here, and we're getting things in shape going forward. Had some exciting meetings this week. Some of the plans that I've been talking about in my State of the Game stuff as well.
Yep.
And I'll talk a little more about, like, for example, PvP and some of the changes we're making. Yeah, so as you can see, I'm switching easily between friendly targets here. And just, you know, for healers, this will be great, especially when there's large groups of people and they need to be very precise in their targeting.
There's already a couple of questions about the reticle mode.
Sure, go ahead, guys.
Yeah.
Ask the questions.
The first one is they want to know if it's out in 1.4?
Yes, it will be with 1.4.
This is actually a 1.4 build.
Yes, we're
obviously
playing,
not the final one, but you know.
we're playing an early 1.4 build.
Yeah.
And also they want to know if they can switch side of the camera.
Oh, which side that's something for the coder to consider as an option.
It's interesting. I don't know if it'll make it for 1.4, but it's definitely something we can look at. It shouldn't be a major issue.
And the reason we're calling this a beta feature is exactly for that reason. We'll get feedback from the community. It'll give us a chance to iterate on it in the direction that people want.
So really now we're just sort of putting in what we have, and you know, then we'll see what it is.
Yes. So yeah, cool.
I'm sure somebody has a nicer left side than the right one, you know. So.
Probably. Where's my active dots? That's what I'm wondering. Let's go see where that's mapped. Alright, and so T switches you in and out of the targeting mode, by the way. So, you know, if you ever find yourself in a position where like you need to use the animal wheel and you're in targeting mode, you just pump T and you're back in, you know, normal mouse mode. It's very similar to the way it works in, say, Terra has I think they use Alt to toggle.
Yeah.
And PlanetSide 2 also has a toggle like that. and I think it's also Alt. So yeah, I chose T because T is very close to my fingers.
And it's for targets.
Yes, T is for targets, and of course when you map F as your use key, which I do, it makes all interactions right at your fingertips, which is very useful. So that's cool. All right, I'm just going to go and check the double tap because I'm trying to figure out where my my thing is. Do we have any more?
We got a couple more ones already. One of them is if they can change the color or the shape of the reticle.
We might provide more options for that going forward, but we don't actually have that. When we launch the feature, it'll just be the basic reticle. But this reticle here, it's worth pointing out, is coder art.
Yes.
It's not actually the art.
I should point that out, actually.
Yeah, you are the art.
It's terrible!
It's not my code. Yes. But at some point we'll probably move the cursor into Flash and have some animations, and then GUI models can do whatever they want with it.
But it's good to say, like as we've shown. I mean, you might not be able to see it, but the color of the target reticule changes already if you are against an enemy. It turns red, so you get already some visual feedback, which means that the functionality is there, and then it's just a matter of making it more pleasing.
And then obviously, like when you go into reticle targeting mode, it will switch the camera back to center. I have to do that manually right now when I go in and out because of the fact that it's only just being implemented fully. So I have to switch manually. But as a player, when you push T, basically it'll switch you into the reticle targeting mode immediately.
But you still have control over the zoom of the camera.
You can control the zoom. You can set it as close or as far away as you want. So, and the interesting thing is, if you do like to play in first-person mode, you can zoom all the way in, and you'll see right now, if I zoom further in, it actually moves across and puts it dead center. Yeah. So this is now it is now the center of my screen where the reticle is. So yeah, you can play in this mode. It would require a little more work for us to do things like actually showing your weapon in this mode. And stuff
exactly.
Like that.
That's what I want to say. Don't expect that. Because
I don't think we'll go, full FPS mode.
Are you saying the art team is freaking out right now?
Just as Liza's did, because we would have to remake all the weapons in iRest. So,
that's true.
But yeah.
Oh, the weapons look awesome. I mean, anyway, look on the back there. That's
but I mean, exactly. And you want to still look at the clothes, right? So.
Yeah.
I'm not going to prefer to sort of see the right over the shoulder.
I think the over the shoulder combat works better in TSW anyway, and especially in third person shooter mode. I think it feels great, but it feels really nice. I think it's just like I say, it's completely optional. It got made a bit of a bigger deal than I wanted it to be when it was sort of announced. I remember we kind of had that conversation last time where we were like, "Oh, this is being called something bigger than we really wanted it to be." It was just an extra feature that I wanted to announce because it wasn't really being talked about for 1.4, and I think it's really cool to have it.
Yeah.
No, I think some people will definitely appreciate it.
Yep.
Yeah. And you can use it. I mean, it's always there, so you can use it if you want to do an exploration or whatever. You don't need to have the weapon equipped or anything.
Oh, special guest of the day.
Yay!
I mentioned we're in Montreal. Here comes the Montreal CEO. This is Miguel. Miguel, say hello to everybody.
How are you?
So Miguel is like a massive Secret World fan. How much have you played? What? How far are you in the game now? How many hours?
Finished the end of the story. It took me a bit more than 200 hours. But I played over 700 hours in the beta, so I'm the most expensive QA in Fantastic.
That's nice. So you're saying you get paid slightly more than QA? That's not very fair.
Shocking information.
That's,
we're just showing off the reticle.
We're showing off our reticle combat. Now Miguel plays the game with a PlayStation 3 controller.
Yep.
He has a third-party program that he uses. What's the program you use? Do you remember?
Motion Enjoy.
Okay.
Very, very easy to use, and because you've got 7 active abilities, it makes it perfect. So to play.
Yeah, so you're playing with PlayStation controller, and you're looking for a cabal to help you run nightmares at this point, I believe. So you have to tell people your character name so they can add you and invite you to their cabal, Miguel. So you've got more friends to play nightmares with.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to actually see how the Reticle gameplay will work with my PlayStation controller, because now it plays like a first-person shooter with my PS3 controller.
Yeah.
So with the Reticle, it's probably going to be even more interesting.
Yeah, it should be fun.
They're asking to show how it works with the ground-targeted spells.
Yeah, let me do that. So there's a couple of tricks, and this actually is a good time for people to learn a few of these tricks if they don't actually know them. Because, Some of them are intentional and some of them are completely unintentional, but they worked out that way, and I like that. You know what I'm going to say, don't you, Aston?
I'm worried.
All right, so when you're in reticle targeting mode and you hit a normal ground target effect, you get the target on the ground. So you can put it where you want it. It works like this. That's fine. All well and good. That's pretty straightforward, and you guys have probably seen that before from us. What we also do in what is also interesting is that we have the ability. You can, if you push Control and push the ground targeted spell. I'll just wait for my ground targeted spell cooldown to go away. Number 7. So if you push Control 7, I wouldn't recommend mapping it to 7 because it's such a reach. As long as it's targeted, it will center the AoE, the ground targeted spell, on the target. And the other thing, and this is the unintentional part, if you push Control Shift, it actually locks that mode. So that when it resets, I'll be able to just push 7, and I won't have to hold Control down. It'll automatically set to the mode that I can cast it automatically on the target. So yeah, I'm not holding Control. It's just
completely unintentional.
So that was completely unintentional.
That's the best part of it.
It works out really well. So
it's not a bug; it's a feature.
It's a feature. That's right.
It's actually great if you play with a controller, and that's the feature that I use the most.
Yeah. So it's
I don't know. Fun fact.
Fun fact time. Yeah.
So when we removed the reticle mode originally, there was one thing we forgot to remove, and that was the actual key binding. It didn't do anything. But you can launch TSW right now on live, and you see there's enable target mode key binding, which isn't mapped to anything. That's actually the reticle.
That's
mode.
the old reticle.
Like it doesn't do anything on live right now, but you know the key binding is there.
In a few weeks it will.
Yes.
In just a few weeks.
So you can prepare the key. You can prepare the key binding.
Yeah, exactly.
That is true. You save precious seconds.
All right. So here we are in Egypt, wonderful Egypt, and Davida you've had a long and storied history at Funcom, having worked on almost every playfield in the game, in some capacity.
Yes.
Moving from like normal producer to art producer, and associate producer, and designer and so forth. Yeah. Why don't you talk a little bit about your time on Egypt and how it's developed?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been quite a ride because I did even some content back in the day here, so that was fun. Not much of that is left actually. I think Egypt has a very special place in our hearts, especially Egypt 1, because we. A lot of us when joining Funcom, we had a great experience as players playing Conan and seeing what they did with Stygia and those locations, and we faced the challenge where we wanted to capture some of that feeling, but also have a
pizza has come.
Yes,
thank you. Sorry,
but also have a very modern setting to it. From a technical perspective, the biggest challenge was actually the city, because there's a lot of assets and Al-Maraya, and it's sitting in the middle of the playfield, which means that you can see it pretty much from everywhere. So that was something. I think one of the things that I love about this playfield is that really rewarding exploration-wise. Daniel, that worked on this for a long time, he's made all sorts of little little caves and little hidden spaces. And I mean, I remember like after a year and a half on this, I was still like discovering places that I had never seen before.
Exactly.
So I think that content-wise, there's still also a lot of potential of areas that haven't been used a lot, especially in the areas around the borders. Is there anything that the guys out there would like to know more about this playfield in particular?
They also said they want to see melee with the reticle target. So what I'm going to do is use the build manager and save my build. So yeah, I call this ranged build.
Brilliant.
Oh, that was well typed. Anyway, random. If the gear manager doesn't work when I try to load it back up, this guy here, we'll yell at him.
We're on it.
We have more fixes to the gear manager coming. I think how many bugs have we had on it since launch? 200?
Probably, at least.
So we keep fixing it, and we keep finding new bugs with
it. Yeah, exactly. The fine thing is that they're always different.
Yeah, they're not the same bug every time, but they look the same. So it's
But we're getting there. There's less and less,
which is great. Less and less is good. I'll settle for that. Alright, I'm going to put a blade build on my character, the most basic blade build we can have, and show you guys how it works. I think like blades being a bit more blades is a bit more AoE oriented, whereas hammer is a bit more cone oriented. So hammer probably has a slightly better feeling with the reticle, but
hammer is always the better.
This is a hammer tank we got here. So yeah, it's it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, we'll get it in there and see how we go.
Nothing beats eruption.
Eruption for the win, yeah. I don't know, I'm sure people would disagree with me, but I'm sure there's people out there who actually have builds that don't need eruption. Alright. I should put it in melee camera mode. That's also one of the options.
I don't remember what that looks like.
Oh yeah? It's very high above the character. It's very sort of, yeah. Alright, let's go. Oh, I forgot. Never mind me, guys. I forgot to actually equip a sword. So let's do that.
Details.
Yeah, details.
Where did you get your grenade?
Oh, I picked it up in one of the crates down by the city. It's cool. Right.
So you're still in Reticle mode now?
Yeah, I'm in Reticle mode now.
Yeah. So basically, if it's in front of you, you're gonna hit it.
Yeah. You can go in right close, but then the mobs get a bit pixely. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. But yeah, it's cool. It seems to work okay. You are right in on the action. Whoa, that was a newer animation on blades that I hadn't seen before. Oh yes, the new animation system. I'm sure there's questions about that. So let's take a couple more questions.
Yeah, sure.
Around. I'll just keep fighting.
You really want to hear the questions?
Yeah, you asked me.
I'm gonna read them for you. Okay, they're asking about what's the status on UI customization, if it's on the radar or not, and to what degree.
You mean in terms of like allowing modders, or in terms of like us doing further customization of the UI? That's a bit of a strangely framed question.
Yeah, specifically, in this case they're asking, I would like to try healing, but currently it's not as fun as tank or DPS because I have to look a lot to the left watching the health bars, so I guess it's a relocking of the health UI, this sort of stuff.
You can display teammates' health bars above their heads.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So I'm still not entirely sure.
So we're also doing a lot of like GUI overhauls for the upcoming raid. So
yeah,
there'll be improvements.
There's people who've been asking on the forums about the raid frame bug. That's actually, I believe we have a fix for that in 4. Yeah. So yeah, we're fixing a lot of those sort of minor things. Guys, I saw there were some posts on the forums where people were like, oh, it's great that Joel's talking about all these new features, but what about bug fixing? I mean, that goes without saying. We're always fixing bugs. We have, our customer service team provides us with a list of the top 10 bugs in the game every day.
And you guys provide us with a lot of that.
And you guys provide us with tons of feedback on the forums. And I mean, one of the things that I've been talking about with the developers since I've been here this week is actually getting more presence on the forums from devs. And so the guys are really excited because they've been a bit nervous about going in and saying things, but now people are excited to get on and talk to you guys more.
Speaking of which, you can join me on Twitter at @next_Nova. I just set it up. I'm a total noob, but basically I will start Twitter like small fixes, small annoyances that we're focusing on, and also it's a very good way for me to get some visual feedback. Like I don't know, this week we just fixed the Templar male uniforms and several assault rifles that were unequipping in the wrong way. Very little things, but I know you guys care for all those little things, and we do as well as artists.
I found that one of the things that was really interesting today was that Davida was telling me there's how many unused PvP uniforms was there? Something like 70?
Yes.
70 uniforms that we made for the PvP playfield that should display on your character based on your faction rank when you go into PvP, and they haven't been set up basically via the script, so they haven't been showing in the game for you in PvP. And kind of I didn't know about it, and I guess it kind of just slipped under the radar. So now we're going to fix that, and you guys will actually have very different visualizations based on the choice you make, like between healer, DPS, or tank, and then also it'll be based on your faction rank. So there's something like 70 different uniform variations.
Combinations.
But there's just a lot of things that that we have, as you know, and unfortunately some are already out thanks to some clever 3D program that shows pre-renders. But yeah, there's a ton of stuff that we got ready. It's just a matter, of tying it in nicely with stuff that we want to do.
Yeah, exactly. I really like that move.
They're asking if we can zoom a little bit out.
Yeah, of course.
So that you can, of course.
They
want to see the chainsaw. Well, you can see it here.
Lollipop chainsaw.
Yeah. Nice. I was looking for the Tabula Rasa t-shirt, but I couldn't find it, so I got this one.
Speaking of Reticle mode.
Yeah, speaking of Reticle mode.
Now the chainsaw is coming along very well, and we've been reviewing the animation that have been coming in. It has a lot of flavor to itself, where some moves are stronger and more inspired to other games and movies that were like the classic horror movies kind of thing, and others are more also inspired to be a little bit more fun, a little bit more make you feel like you're a superhero. So it's coming along very well. Not quite ready for prime time.
The systems guys are doing a great job with the abilities. One of the things that we're focusing on is making them feel very fun. Like I think with the rocket launcher, like one of the things that I think the feedback was that because we really try to make sure that the weapons are kind of evenly spread, so the damage of the rocket launcher isn't perhaps as high as it should be for how cool some of the effects are. So one of the things we're thinking about doing is increasing the cooldown on like big red button, but making it do 10 times the damage, so that it's that one really big damage hit. Instead of like actually, you fire it off every
We need to change the effects then in a complete nuke.
Well, we already have it.
Bigger. The frame rate needs to drop and the server shut down.
In the last dungeon elite that I did, all 5 of us at the end, at the last boss, when we started the last fight, we all shot in the same time, our big red button.
Nice.
I mean, my whole screen was on fire.
It's good. Shutting down players since 1987. That's what we do.
It's like the scorched earth nukes, if you remember those.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So what else? Do we have some more questions?
Tough ones.
Yeah. This is just lightweight. I'm just warming up.
Will you be adding a hotbar for potion, grenades, and such that can be key mapped?
Okay. So yeah, for Reticle mode, we have a list of improvements, and one of the things that one of the tasks that exists in our task pipeline is actually making, it's basically being able to assign hotkeys to inventory items. We used to have a system called pocket slots that we had before launch, but eventually it got sort of pushed to the side and removed. I can't remember exactly the reasoning behind it. But
it wasn't just the hotbar. It was also at that point it was sort of restricted you from changing out these things. So you could only use stuff while it was on your pocket bar.
Right, yeah, that's right. It was
So it kind of meant that you couldn't use all your potions in a fight, for example.
Right. So yeah, so we will be adding that feature in. I'm not sure which patch. I don't want to talk about. One of the things you'll expect from me, and I've been saying on beta forever, is that I don't like to talk about things until I know that they're going to be in the game.
Yes.
And so that's one of the things that I won't give you a date on, but I promise you it will be in the game eventually.
So maybe we shouldn't talk about Cabal customization, which is one of the questions.
well, actually, Cabal customization we've made some steps on. I don't know when we've scheduled it before though, but it's one of the things that we have a design on allowing people to create custom ranks, assigning privileges, things like that, improving the customization of Cabals. In the game, and we have some designs on it from
it's not on 1.4.
No, I mean it's not for issue 4. Yeah, 1.4 is our internal.
Probably or 5 or anything like.
But yeah,
it's definitely on the list.
It's on the list of things, and yeah, we have Cabal improvements, and one of the things I've been doing while I'm in Montreal now is actually the team is getting we've been making a feature list as well, improvements to the game, new features that we'd like to see in the game, and then prioritizing them. And we've been using the forums as a basis as well. So we've been gathering your feedback, putting it all together, sort of trying to sort of come up with a list of features that we think will improve the game and give people, you know, what they want from the game without changing the vision of the game, of course, and that's one of the main things.
Even in your state of the game, I mean, you know, like Cabal, faction, it's super important from us. Like, little trivia, memory lane moment here as well. Like, probably you guys don't know, but like internally, our teams up until a year from launch, where each team had the name of a faction or an organization, and I mean, it was pretty brutal. Like, people wouldn't want to talk like, oh, you're the Illuminati team, oh, you're the Templar team. It's like, no, but serious, like, no, for us, we take...
You make us sound like such professionals, David.
I mean, you know what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying, yeah.
And I think it's very, very important for us keep working on this.
Exactly.
And so.
No, and especially like one of the things that I've been talking about with the guys is making sure that factions are tied more strongly with the Cabal. So the Cabal system in our game, we made a choice to have you know, Cabals be faction locked, and we do want to stick with that. But what we want to do is create a stronger sense of identity with your faction by being in a Cabal. You are a Dragon Cabal, and you know, or an Illuminati Cabal, or a Templar Cabal, and we really, really want to reinforce the faction strength. And that's part of ties back into one of the things I mentioned in the state of the game, which is the faction conflict. And that gives me it's kind of one of the things that we really want to build upon is the faction conflict. I feel like it's one of the weakest pillars of the game right now. It's one of the pillars where we have the PvP, but that's not all faction conflict should be. And I think we need to sort of work a little more on that. But that gives me it gives me a good segue into PvP, because I know people were asking a little bit about what some of the things that we're planning for PvP, especially Fusang revamps and so forth. So I'll give you guys a little bit of information about that. So one of the first and biggest changes we're making is we're removing the weekly updating of rewards from the PvP. You won't be getting them every week, and not everybody in the faction will be getting them. What instead will be happening is that every 3 minutes there'll be a check run, and depending on how many bases you own in Fusang, you will be rewarded. So it's a matter of holding bases, defending bases, and keeping the bases as best you can. So we're really trying to sort of reinforce this sort of defense part of Fusang. And in addition to that, I'm really trying to sort of we really want to make sure that like the factions, you feel like you can go there, and if you're 3 people in your faction and there's like 27 Templars, you don't feel like it's the only thing you can do. So we have this new mission called the Underdog mission, which we're adding to Fusang. And with the Underdog mission, you'll be able to actually awaken an automaton, and or not an automaton, I guess they're called guardians in Fusang, or custodians. Yes. I can't remember the exact name, but you'll be able to awaken a custodian, your own private custodian, that will walk a path, and you'll be able to use it to beat down the doors to one of the facilities. So it gives the Underdog faction, the faction that's the weakest, the ability to sort of come back and make a difference in the area. And it'll hopefully push people more into hotspots and create, more spread out fighting within Fusang, and hopefully, give people a reason to get back into PvP and defend the areas.
There's a question. I was just seeing that there's a pretty big Cabal. The gentleman was saying that his Cabal cover all 3 factions, a bit like what his Cabal was doing in WoW as well.
Okay.
What's going to happen to this if Cabals are faction specific?
Well, they've always been faction specific, so there's not. It's not like he can create a Cabal in our game that has all 3 factions in it already. So I mean, if he has a Cabal that has members in all 3 factions, like that sort of have their own forums and stuff outside of the game, that's fine. It'll be the same way it always has been for them. Okay. It's not going to change their experience significantly to what it is today.
Did we announce anything about the cross-server Fusang, or what our plans are there?
No, we're discussing that. It's a little bit more. Jeez, watch my own landmine. I love this. Is one of my favorite missions in the game, I have to say. Just leading dudes over landmines until they explode. It's fantastic. Okay. Oh. Oops. Yeah, there was a landmine. Oh. Okay, that was some fail. Jeez, I'm failing pretty hard here today. I'm sorry about that. That's just me.
I like so many times.
Yeah. Sabotage missions aren't for everyone. They're for the highly skilled, I stand. It's not coders.
Don't tell them more skill.
What was the last question? Now I'm forgetting.
Cross server.
Oh, cross server Fusang. Yeah, it's it's something we're talking about. It's a population thing.
Yes.
We want to try and do a few things to the rule set, and then if you want, it's like a process. You don't fix Fusang in one patch. You make changes and you tweak and you identify what people liked and what they didn't like, and then you keep increasing. And cross-server Fusang is on the list, but it's further down the road, and that's based on how well or poorly some of our newer mechanics go.
Yeah. And the other thing they're asking is a faction change for a fee.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's possible. We haven't really discussed it yet, I'll say.
What was the question, sorry?
Can we change people's faction if they buy a faction change in the shop, for example? It would have to be on a lockdown so that you couldn't do it more than once every, 2 or 3 weeks, because then we'd have like people switching PvP and.
It's also actually quite complicated because of the quest history, which would have to be switched out. I mean, of course, it's possible in theory, but yeah, we would have to look at it.
Yeah,
that's definitely not something we've discussed yet. Yeah, but we can put on the list of things to discuss. Absolutely.
Sure.
Cool. All right. So where should we go now, guys? Do you want me to keep going down the road of the stealth mission, the sabotage
Go
mission?
to New York?
You want to go to the New York raid?
No.
You want to show off your?
No, it's alright. I can't wait for them to actually experience
I don't think
it,
we should spoil
but
it
no,
too much.
we're not gonna spoil it.
We can't spoil it for everyone. What else you got? I'm gonna just jump in and change my. Oh, I can use the gear manager. Eystein, but I hope it works, buddy.
I will commit seppuku on the spot.
I see. Yeah, I see. I've seen a few questions about the theater and social. I think that's something that me, Tanya, and everybody here actually has a lot at heart. I don't know if anybody in beta saw the actual Albion theater. We're extremely proud of how it looked visually, and also we've actually been working on that feature for months. So it's actually pretty hefty on content, on the things you'll be able to do in the Albion theater. I think you guys will appreciate that.
Yeah, I might go there and try and show off some of the features.
Yeah,
I can get there.
And you'll be able to sit on chairs. It's actually quite complicated, but we're working on that. I don't know if.
There you go.
I don't know if we'll be able to do it for. I'm not sure it's for 1.4, but Tanya and us were talking about it. The thing is, we have so many chairs and stools, and we need to basically be able to retro fix them so that you can actually snap correctly at the right height and not intersect. So it might be that it will be initially a limited selection of chairs and things like that, but we're working on that.
We are.
We are.
Eystein's just going to figure out what the GM command is because he doesn't actually know. And I need to teleport to the Albion Theatre.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go to the theatre, guys.
Yeah, we're gonna show the theater. We're not gonna show New York, even though it's very tempting. It's
always tempting when you've got a live audience to show off as much as you possibly can. Both, like anyone who works in the gaming industry, it's a naturally born show off.
Well, I can tell you it rocks. I played it last week for like 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
It works. It's
the raid test last week.
Yes.
Yeah, we did another one today. But I was in a management meeting with the CEO, so I wasn't able to go and try out the raid today. So it was, but yeah, apparently it was pretty good, and we'll be putting it on Test Live as soon as we're comfortable with it being out there for people to test.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, actually, that's good. Reminds me.
Yes.
Speaking of Test Live,
very important.
Very important.
You're gonna get goodies. So very important.
Yeah.
For them.
Oh yeah, we're gonna give out goodies.
Yeah.
Are you guys making a T-shirt?
The bug hunter thing.
Yeah, we have a bug hunter outfit which you can get by helping us out on Test Live. And we'll what we're going to do is we're going to start having killer dev days on Test Live again, which we used to do before launch. And it's for testing new functionality of the PvP area, Fusang. So we'd love to get guys in. Look for the dates closer to when we're actually ready to do them, because obviously we're not quite ready yet, but we will start announcing on the forums that we're going to do a killer dev day, and that means we'll probably have 50 or so devs in Fusang, on one of the factions, and we'll be
little
I
labs.
have 2 surprises.
Oh no, 2 surprises! Oh, this is why we love you.
Thank you.
And the most important one?
Beer?
No, you.
All right, and guys, this is This is Scott. This is Scott. He's the producer for the Secret World. He's my right-hand man, or if you want,
You're my right-hand
I'm
man.
his right-hand man.
That's right.
Either way.
Hello, everybody.
So Scott is the producer, and yeah, he's. How long have you been on Secret World as the producer? It's several years now.
For 2 years with the Montreal office.
2 years, yeah. So we've been working together for a while, and Scott kind of makes sure that we don't get too far out of line, and he also brings us beer when the time is right.
I'm the bad guy.
Cheers. So we're all ready to teleport?
Yep.
Thank you. I'm just going to teleport to London. Don't worry about our crazy GM logs that appear on screen and so forth. That's just us being awesome.
Secret cheat menu.
Secret cheat menu. Developer cheat menu.
Yeah, and you can get it by...
It'll be in the shop for a few $100.
Yes,
$100.
yes.
Is there any more questions that we can answer?
Let's see. Can you explain the puzzle raid concept again?
Sure. Puzzle raids will require 10 people. I'm trying to make the puzzles as random as possible, and that you can repeat them and get a different experience each time. At least, to a certain limit of parameters, because we can't make them infinitely repeatable. But yeah, there'll be a certain amount of randomization in the puzzles, so they won't always be the same. You get 10 people together. The first of the puzzle raids, guys, I know that a lot of people have reached rank 13 in their faction, and they're waiting to hear what Data Vault access acquisition entails. Well, the first puzzle raid is all about that. It's all about finding out what the Data Vault is, where it is, and every faction will have a unique version of that. And yeah, the first puzzle raid is really about it's gathering 10 people. You'll be doing different things. So like the example I gave in the state of the game was that you might answer 10. You might have to have people positioned beside every red phone booth in London, and a phone call will come, and you all have to answer the phone within 10 seconds of each other. And every single one of you will get a separate piece of a phrase, and you'll have to figure out what that phrase means and where it's leading you next. And then you might have to do 10, and the location could be anywhere. It could be somewhere in the world, and the place that it leads you will be like you might have to stand in 10 different spots and do different emotes that are part of solving the puzzle. So there'll be a lot of this sort of stuff in the puzzle raids. And in the first case, these will lead you to the Data Vault, and then from then on, you will always take these at the Data Vault. So it's a pretty exciting feature. I'm pretty excited about what we can do with it. The first 3 we're aiming for in the next few months in one of the updates. I haven't quite nailed down which update yet because I don't want to overpromise. But coming soon and very exciting for us. What else did you have?
I got a few. I got one that I can probably answer. Is there a plan to add non-claw fist weapons? They might as well be called claws rather than fists. Well, it's obviously a possibility. The thing is that the animations are very specific, so we would have to, like in the beginning we talked about, but a lot of them are really this sort. So it kind of would feel weird because you're then not having contact with the mob. It's definitely something we can look about again, but yeah. Not sure. Not in the short term right now. And then the next question is, they want to know what are the base requirements to be able to fight the raid. 10 purple, 10 blue, 10 purple, 10.4 purple.
Scott's on that.
We're going to balance it. Obviously, it's going to be harder than Nightmares just because 10 people are going to be there, so you're hurting 10 cats instead of just 5. The equipment requirement is going to be 10.1 quality level. So if you're able to do Polaris or get through a few bosses of the Polaris, that's where we're going to aim the equipment requirements for.
Can you go ask Tanya what
the mechanics are a little bit harder.
TPN is? Yeah. Okay, that's cool. So yeah, so a little bit harder than Nightmare.
The mechanics are, I mean, there's 10 people, so the complexity. I know you're laughing because you're not too successful at Nightmares.
No, not.
Don't cry.
The raid is. I remember the first time we tried, and the first attack killed all 10 people.
Yeah.
That's called balance. That's fine. You always launch with an unbalanced.
We're not supposed to be where we were.
Okay, got 2 more. One brings me again back to memory lane. Was asking, would it be possible to set an aggro system for where you're killing mobs and some idiot runs from one side and trains you and gets you 30 ads. That brings me back to my days when I was playing Anarchy Online in the Temple of Three Winds, where it was just a fucking huge corridor, you beginning, and then you see, choop, choop, in chat, and people will slaughter you.
The thing in TSW is, the only time mobs will attack you is if you hit them. So you must be using AoEs when people train you, because mobs don't, you're not on their hate list until you attack them, or you heal the person who's running away from them.
Yeah.
So like, you can't really get trained. Like we have mechanics that actively avoid that unless you actually actively attack the mobs. So like someone can bring 50 mobs to stand next to you, and if you don't attack them, then they won't do anything. So yeah, I'm just gonna announce.
So don't play the hero, basically.
Yeah.
Just be a selfish bastard, like Joel.
Well, no. I always play the hero. The difference is that I'm good and I win.
Oh,
So
you
when
know,
someone
GM on.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's why GM works for the best.
All right.
Really?
No, it was start. Start.
Yes.
So we're doing GM magic and
Yes.
trying to figure out the proper GM magic, not without the front one.
Start space Albion Theater.
Really? Is that all it is? Wow.
Yeah.
I gotta learn to type. I'm sorry, guys. You'll have to excuse my lack of exciting stuff happening on the screen because I'm a terrible, terrible live streamer. I'm no Total Biscuit.
And you're a bad person.
What? What? What?
When did that happen?
Here we go.
All right. So we're in Albion Theatre. I just paid to rent the stage, so now I get teleported onto the stage. You can see the backdrop here.
Which currency could you pay?
You pay with packs.
Ooh,
Magical
yeah.
packs. Something more to use your packs on, guys. Alright, and backstage here, I get to pick up the stage manager tablets. Now, of course, guys, this is a work in progress. I don't want people to get all worried about how it looks and, you know, the fact that this uses the base computer interface. But anyway, I'm going to jump off the stage now. I'm going to show you guys how a stage manager does their job, which is kind of cool. So, jumping out. Yes, I'm going to leave the stage. You cannot jump onto the stage unless you
Show a
rent
little bit the location as
Yeah,
well,
I'll show the
because you
location.
can make out on the sofas. It's very nice.
Yeah, this is a nice place for erotic roleplay, if that's what you're into. And so this is the Albion Theatre. It's a very classy theatre. You might recognise the backdrop as being very, very Kingsmithy.
Yes.
That's the lighthouse. Yeah. So I'll jump in. I'll grab my Albion Theatre controls. I might start by setting the lighting. Oh, let's just do this here. So I think we should have a center spotlight. So let's do that. Alright, I can start the left spotlight, turn the one off. At any point, you can change the ambience of the stage. So that's apparently warm ambience. There you go. Cool ambience. Turn on the house lights, turn down the house lights, turn on a police strobe. That's what we're into, and we'll continue to expand on the options. Of course, these are just some of the early options. Have things like effects. Oh, actually, you know what? I better go and put the lights back up so that we can actually see what we're doing here. So let's put the warm ambience on. I think.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right. So then, in addition to that, I'll start messing with the effects. So we can, for example, put on a light rain, and I don't know if you can actually see that. Give me a second. There you go. You can see the light rain there. Light rain falling. Make it a heavy rain. So you can have different effects on the stage. You can make it snow. I don't think I just did that, did I? No. What am I doing here?
Yeah.
That's
Wind and leaves. Yeah, it looks a little. No, oh, there you had the snow.
Yeah, there's the snow. All right. So it snows, and you'll see that the texture on the stage actually changes to become snow-covered. It's very cool.
Some giant snowflakes.
And do some wind and leaves brushing across. So I mean, it gives you a bit of a tool to like sort of role play with the different effects and stuff like that. It's really.
Let's not spoil it all, but yeah, there's more stuff.
Yeah, and you can set up backdrops, and you can close the front curtains, and you can do all these sort of things. So that's a little hint of the Albion Theatre. And as I said, like unless you've rented the stage, you can't get up there except you can get up there by talking to the person in the front if you own it. If you don't own it, you can't jump up. Nobody can really spoil your performances.
Yeah.
We set it up so that only you can rent the stage, and only people who you are in your group or have been invited to your group can join.
Yeah.
And yep.
What about sound effect? Can you? Is there sound features?
Not yet, but we might add some in the tablet before this feature goes live. And this feature is up for 1.4, so or issue 4, as we call it. So it's not that far away.
And I think a lot is going to be monitoring what you guys use the most and what you feel is still needed and everything, and then we can expand it.
Yeah, exactly. Like people need to again send us feedback on what they'd like to see in the game and how we can improve certain features for the community. So, but I wanted to say actually, it was I went to the Revolution event last week, and it was really fun. It was really exciting to go to the Horn God and see people everywhere. 300 or 400 people. It's the first time I've been to a nightclub in like 20 years, because and even though it was a virtual nightclub, it was very cool.
Yeah. Do we have a current limit of players you can invite? They're asking if 5 or 10 or how many.
To the actual theatre?
Yeah.
No, I think you can have as many as you want in the theatre. I think it's the
maybe not for us.
There's a cap of like maybe 100.
Yeah, but it's not just 5. It's not.
But you can only have, I think, a group come up onto the stage.
Yes.
So I think it's like a group cap to be on the stage. Yep.
Is it a free representation, or as a spectator you have to pay?
That's up to the people running the thing if they want to force people to play.
Yeah.
Scott, you have somebody outside.
Other thing they're asking, will we be able to gift Funcom points to friends?
It's a good feature. We've discussed it. It's really sort of a matter of talking to the shop guys about that. I don't actually have details on it, but we have discussed it with the shop team at least. So yeah, I don't have any answer that I can give you, but I can tell you that it has been discussed at least. Cool. Alright, I'm going to move on to the. I'm going to move back to one of the other playfields. Let's go through. Let's run back through Egypt.
Okay.
Through Agartha to Egypt. Yeah.
You can sprint,
I can't actually. I don't know what's wrong with this keyboard, but
aren't we fixing sprinting by the way?
Yes. Oh yeah, this is
That's
cool.
very important, right?
That's a cool quality of life feature we have. It's fixed.
Nice.
Now, when you
Finally.
die, when you're in death state, you will be able to run at the maximum sprint speed. Quality of life fixes like that, we always like talk about them, and then sometimes we forget to do them, but we eventually got this one in. So you'll be able to actually run at the maximum at the maximum sprint speed when you're in death state. So it'll and. Yeah, I talked a little bit about fast travel system. We're still working on that, but we'll get the fast travel system into the game soon. And then people who use /reset and nudity to travel will find themselves out of a job. They'll have to if you try to use /reset, you'll be charged regardless. But that's not coming in for this first patch, so you'll be safe for a little while longer.
And they're asking if we'll expand Agartha. I think it's safe to say that we do have some plans for Agartha, but they're more tied with the other zones and everything. I mean, the way the playfield was designed was to be very light, obviously, so that a lot of people can be there at the same time. And it's also like, it's infinite. So yeah, absolutely. It really plays in the strength of what we can do.
Yeah, Agartha is like a modular setup, and we can add as much or remove as much. But one of the missions coming in 1.4 actually is it's a mission that's given by Mama Berna in London, the Haitian woman in the wheelchair, and some of you have seen her before launch, and she gives the players a mission to find out a little more about sort of magic in London, and as you dig through that mission, you eventually end up finding out a little more about what Agartha is, and finding out a little more about people who may have been interested in Agartha but may not have been able to control it the way that they wanted to. So there's a little mission hint for you for the patch.
We'll need to bring back Sebastian at some point.
Who's Sebastian?
The Jamaican cook, man.
Oh, he's awesome.
He's still there. He's still standing there smoking his reefer.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
He's got something to say.
Oh, smoking. He's sitting. Speaking of which, we're also adding. I'm not allowed to call it smoking because it's not smoking, because that's bad and we don't do that. But we're going to add talcum powder sticks to the game, which people will be able to put in their mouths and blow little
powder sticks.
they blow little puffs. No, I just call them death sticks, but So yeah, we're adding little things like that. Dance emotes. We've talked about. We announced Gangnam Style. But we're actually doing a pack there. We have quite a few. It's not just Gangnam Style. It's different dance emotes.
The guy who mocked that was slightly old, so I think, just don't be upset. It's a little bit of a silly take on the Gangnam Style.
I think we might remocap that one.
At some point, yes.
I still want the Sumerian dance. rip that.
We have the animations.
I think that when it comes to emote, it's safe to say yes, we will be expanding, constantly about it. Again, it's a matter of balance. I mean, we haven't talked much about the other big thing that in the long run we want to work on, sort of improving some of the animations.
We can talk about the animation system. Actually, someone did ask a question about that. We're implementing a new animation backend, and what that means is that we are able to do things that we haven't been able to do in our engine, and that includes things like IK, and IK for people who have don't have a technical background. It basically means that we can make the legs stand independently of each other. You see it in games like Guild Wars 2 have it. Like in our game, you'll see that when I stand on an edge like that, my legs aren't sort of, they aren't terribly height fitting. They're not independent of each other. They're actually sort of morphed together. With IK, we'll be able to have smoother leg blending, which will help with the whole upper body blending together thing. We have what we will do. I think people think that what I was talking about in the state of the game is that we're going to redo all the animations in the game. That's not correct. But what we will do,
no, it's not correct.
what we will do is we'll add the system that gives us a few things like the animation system, like the IK for free, and then we will retarget some of the blending on the animations, which is what I feel is sort of from the complaints that I've heard about animations. It seems that stiffness is one of the major complaints, and the feeling that things are a bit off. And when we retarget some of the blending, that will improve that feeling a lot.
It will be a lot easier to sort of set up more advanced blend trees and stuff like that.
Yes, exactly. So you'll be able to see big improvements in the animations, but they won't be completely new animations for every weapon all over the game.
And it'll be a very gradual change as well. You won't see dramatic differences right away.
Probably starting with the jump.
Yeah, we'll probably work on jump first.
This is I just like to say, it's a long term. So don't get overexcited. I mean, we're still the technology is still.
First we put in the system, and then we gradually.
We'll do the coding backend first before we actually code.
The day us artists gets it, I'll let you know. And maybe I'll share some clips and things. But right now it's still. But it's definitely something
It's super exciting because it gives us a lot of opportunities to improve. Not just the combat animations and so forth, but it also gives us the opportunities to make facial animations in cinematics more lively. We can improve facial animations on both the player character and NPCs. We can do better morphing of characters, and it gives us a lot of extra tech oomph, which is really good.
In that line of thought, we're getting in a few weeks an expert in animation in Montreal.
Yes.
To work with the team, so that's going to be absolutely fantastic.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so shifting slightly, somebody is slightly disappointed in the lack of love for Seoul. What you talking about, man? Seoul, I love Seoul. I'd move there any day.
We discussed a feature that's going to show up in Seoul very soon, yesterday.
Yes.
I'm not going to announce what it is, but we're going to have some stuff in Seoul.
Yes, there will be some really important stuff in Seoul, and generally speaking, not just in Seoul, but we will be adding again, just like we did it with the theater, we're going to be adding more features that make it feel like live cities. The focus for now is still London as the social hub, also because we don't want to.
Yeah, we have planned a lot of social features for London, it being the social hub. That said, we do want to expand the other hubs, and there's no reason we won't. And there's certain features that you'll see coming into.
Yes.
What about my taekwondo school in Seoul that I always bug you with?
You want to have a taekwondo school in Seoul? we should actually get you in there we'll motion capture you.
I would love to.
And then we can give people real lessons in taekwondo in the secret world. I like that actually. Miguel, by the way, is what is it? Olympic bronze medal in taekwondo?
It was a demonstration part. It was not official, but I've been doing taekwondo for 30 years. I'm a master like that.
Don't mess with Miguel. When the developers mess with him, he knocks us down. It's really tough.
Okay.
He's an abusive parent. It's fine.
There's an interesting thing. Why is TSW on Steam but not for the UK? I had no idea.
I have no idea.
That's a question for marketing.
Yeah, I'd send that one to sales and marketing. Yeah. I assume it has something to do with contracts with EA and things like that. I have absolutely no idea.
I guess we can look into that. And then long-term plans for crafting.
Yep, I can talk a little bit about that. We're going to expand the crafting system. and we're going to do it in lots of different ways. I had a meeting with, it's one of the features that we've assigned to one of the members of the team, and that is like creating a lot more recipes and expanding the use of crafting in the game. And so we've been talking about it quite a bit with the team, and I'm waiting to get the designs back from those guys. Basically, it's in the pipeline. One of the other things that's a hot issue at least on the test side forums is people are asking for ways. People are pointing out that for casual players, it's very hard to get nightmare mode stuff unless you can get 5 men together to run nightmares all the time, and that's fair enough. What I want to do is provide a way for people who play casually to be able to get that gear, but not nearly as quickly or as easily as people who actually can run Nightmare Dungeons. So I've been talking with the systems team about that, and they're coming up with some suggestions for ways to put it in. There's several things under discussion. One of them is like using the sequence from the playfields, which become the sequence from the different regions, which have become a bit obsolete for people over time. And so there's lots of ways we can do that. And so we're really in discussion on that. We're really taking that feedback seriously, and we're trying to sort of come up with ways for more casual players to get the most they can out of their time in TSW.
Yeah, and then here they're saying, they're asking about Tokyo. Obviously, they want to know what, in this case, just the level of difficulty. And the level of difficulty is awesome. That's officially that's
Davida has a very special place in his heart for Tokyo.
I do.
It's like his love. You wear me out even talking about it sometimes. But
yeah, I mean, believe it or not, we worked on it for a little while back in mid 2009. So I need
to turn off.
There's a lot. It's very much the most ambitious playfield we've ever done for TSW, if not. Yep. In the company, I would say.
Absolutely.
And I mean, it's what makes me come to work every day. So,
Tokyo is awesome. It's going to be cool. It's a very large urban sprawled playfield. It's super expensive from a production perspective, but hey, it's going to be pretty and people are going to love it. I've been working again with Sean, who's the gameplay designer, and Casper, who's the writer, and Davida, the art team. We've been working on this and discussing what we're going to do with it while I've been here. It's pretty exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing how people react to some of the things that we're going to put in there as well.
Yeah, and there's another little thing about it. Story-wise, Tokyo has always been after Transylvania. It's a natural progression. We didn't do cut-offs and things and try to rejigger the story because of time constraints or anything like that. It was a natural progression. We decided at some point that we were going to ship with a certain amount of playfield. The way that we felt that the way the story ended in Transylvania worked on a good cliffhanger for us to then go forward to Tokyo.
I mean, I think just in general game development, you set your ambition level, and then you set cutoff points for your ambition level. Yeah. So when we were sort of planning what we could get in for launch and stuff, we planned with this much, and then we said but if we can't make that, then we'll remove this, and then this. And Tokyo was one of the ones that was on because of where it fits in the storyline. It was one of the things that we were like, yeah, okay, we won't be able to deliver this, so we'll push it. And that's fine.
Joe Everett, yes, we have planned other regions already. I mean, Ragnar and the rest of the team, we really live and breathe this game. So yes, we have a long amount of content figured out, and to a certain degree, to a certain level of productions. There's already assets made for upcoming regions after Tokyo as well. We're not going to tell you what.
People keep bringing them up in their nice little 3D views. So I see people finding models that, for example, are from other places or other times.
Yes.
And it's kind of interesting because, I guess
some of them we've shown ourselves in marketing material.
Marketing may have spawned a giant dinosaur in this area of the game.
Funny how that happened.
When they were making a video once, but it's we have lots of locations planned, and it's I told the team this the other day, with our setting, there's nothing we can't do. That's the most amazing thing. I mean, we have very clear guidelines on the vision that Ragnar has set, and it's fantastic. And Ragnar still sort of shepherds that and controls that and owns that. But creativity-wise, it's a very, very big box for us to run around in. So it's really nice, and it gives us a lot of scope for what we can plan and do. All right.
Yeah. Time travel missions. Like the Franklin's dimension. Well, I guess Possibly.
Yeah.
There is a police box in London, and we're considering bow ties because bow ties are cool. So I mean, why not, right?
Yeah. No, I mean, time travel is kind of one of those things that we can throw in wherever we like. It fits with the setting. There's lots of reasons to do it here and there. The Franklin Mansion one, I think, was like, hey, I wrote the design for that mission, so I'll take credit for that one. That was fun. But the whole idea there was that we had the ghosts, and I really wanted to tell the story of how those ghosts that haunt the mansion came to be, and also give the player a chance to have some sort of interaction with them and like sort of understand the past of the ghosts in that house, because even in the Halloween mission which is coming up, you'll have more interaction with that house as a part of the mission. So it's the Franklin Mansion is an important location in the game.
Yes.
There's one of our players that's saying, "You guys are my hero."
Oh.
You are my hero as well.
Oh.
You guys are our heroes.
This is getting awkward. How much beer have you guys had? This is getting very, very awkward now. No,
Actually, not enough.
It's yeah, I don't know. Like, it's an amazing profession.
Yes.
And like I said to the team, you know, we do this for fun. We love our jobs. So I mean, it's great that you guys enable us to do this. And you know, it would help us if you sell a few million more copies to your friends. But
Yeah, why not?
If you guys want to buy,
Well, don't be greedy. Come on.
but it's honestly like I think community interaction, working with the team here, and like building a game for other people to enjoy is one of the most rewarding professions you can have. One of the most rewarding things you can do, and it's the difference between making a single player game and an MMORPG. I think single player games they finish the game and they walk away.
Yeah.
But with us, it's like we're here for the long haul. We're here. We care about what we do. We're really passionate about the work we do. I don't think you could have much more passion for anything but Tokyo. So you like
Not just Tokyo. I mean, I'm a huge Lovecraft buff and everything. I mean,
it's just what we do. It's fun.
I have an anti-addictive personality. Like, I get bored very, very easy. And my attention, I'm kind of a TDAH, so my attention focus is I need to have a lot of things to do. And I've really been playing Secret World for 3 years now, and I just don't get bored. I just love that game, and I'm not doing like marketing bullshit or anything like that. I just really, really love that game. You guys have seen me playing. I play at least 3-4 hours every day, and just need that time to play.
Yeah,
and that's probably the only time that my office is not open to you guys. It's when
we go in and bother you.
The only time I get rude with you is like, what?
That's alright. You have no idea how annoying it was when...
You want me for peeping time?
You have no idea how annoying it was when Miguel was playing an investigation mission for the launch, and I had to be his personal spoiler guy. Jesus
Sorry,
Christ!
That's the only one that. But my whole life is about investigation issues and fixing them in real life. So in the game, yes.
Okay, we got a couple more.
We should start rounding this up because we've gone over our hour, but. You know, ask a few more questions.
Are you tired? No, I'm joking.
I'm just jet lagged.
Yeah. So players have several. You guys have several clothing requests. Don't we know about it? Yes. We have a huge backlog of clothes. Actually, I mean, there's a lot in the pipeline, and it's split between obviously the store and the vendor. We're just gathering also metrics about what it's needed, what it's missing, and what not. I mean, clothes, it's one of the biggest things for us from a visual point of view. So yeah, absolutely.
Clothing is like a reward.
We had to slow down a moment just because we were gathering up the group and developers again and just figuring out what we had. So I know that for 1.2 and 1.3 there hasn't been as much, but we're getting now really back on track. I mean, just like the PvP universe we said, there's 90 ready. There's the new, we announced the decks, right? The starter decks. There's the new starter decks that are coming in, and there's cloth batches of all sorts of things. One of the things that
that was subtle, David. If we hadn't announced it, well, people knew what was coming.
Of course.
We've announced the starter decks, haven't we? Yeah,
it was a rhetorical question.
Now we have.
Yeah. So, and we're looking also into more sort of like styles just like how different people, the different subcultures, and we wanna do more of that.
Einstein's a strong silent type, so he doesn't say much unless there's a code bug.
I'm just guarding these guys from Miguel. I think he will kick my ass.
Goes into a crazy rage. Yeah, we should talk about what happened last night at the bar, Einstein. You and your...
Holy.
There was no karaoke yesterday. It did not happen.
Isn't that ironic?
They want to know about other factions that player can join into.
Additional factions to the 3 we have?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we have the Council of Venice and the Phoenicians and so forth, who play a pretty big role in the game, and you'll be seeing more of those guys, especially the sort of conflict between the two of them, which I think is like a hugely important part of the storyline that we're going to build up more and more, and I think it's going to be very epic on the day that comes to a head. But I like adding more player joinable factions is a bit of a no-go right now. We would prefer that people focus on the 3, and we're going to build we're working on giving people a greater sense of feeling that they're in a faction and building the identities of the faction. That's one of the key sort of focus areas for us going forward. So we really want to focus on the 3 we have.
I mean, having a 4th faction would sort of change the fundamental nature of the game and everything. So.
I mean, yeah.
Yes.
Let's say
that's the answer.
Plans for long hair. Well, see, the problem is this: we don't have physics in the hair, and also if we did, which we talked about for a while, you all would have to buy new machines, because at Apex with 150 players running around, that's get pretty heavy.
It's potentially very, very expensive, and you have to account for the case where there's dozens or hundreds of players being rendered on your client, and if anyone has wavy hair, then things start going very wrong very fast.
Right. That being said, we've introduced some longer hair. I know that there's still some stuff that is missing, like longer ponytails and things, so we were looking into that, but there are limits, because we don't want the hair to completely clip when you do this and then it gets out of your chest and it's a mess. So,
But you don't like hairy chest?
Wait, did I shave this morning?
But there's some stuff coming through the character creation stuff.
Yeah. Oh no. That's the unannounced feature.
Ooh, yeah,
we haven't talked about what we're adding. We haven't talked about what
there will be things.
We will add something to character creation, but we're not telling people what it is.
Did you see the mock-up?
What is it?
JS throw together?
I haven't seen the mock-up. No.
What is it, Joe?
It's good.
What is it? I can't say it. We're on a live stream.
Yeah. No.
This is an unannounced feature. The whole point of an unannounced feature is that it remains unannounced, and people go, "Wow, those guys added that. They're awesome." So when the time comes, guys, try to act surprised.
Any clues what the magic auxiliary weapon will be?
Yes. I will say one thing, and that is that you can think about what primitive people would consider magic in the modern day, something that we do, and I'll say that it's tied to Edgar, Mr. Edgar in the scrapyard, and it's not a flamethrower. So
its power is only surpassed by its mystery.
Yes, pretty much. We started. We're past the concepting phase where we're gonna be producing all the visuals for the weapon. It's pretty fun.
I think it's gonna be amazing, and we're getting some pretty cool new code features for the abilities for the magic.
We can talk about that probably.
Ox weapon.
What you'll be able to do with the Ox weapons.
Yeah. You can bring it up, Scott. You started it. Scott's back in the room, guys. Come around the corner so people can see.
So for the next Ox weapon and then any weapons after that, I posted on the forums a while ago that as the Ox weapons come out, we're going to make them more and more powerful. With the rocket launcher, we had to limit some stuff since that's the only choice you have. And with TSW on the systems, we want to make sure you have as many choices as possible. I know like tanks are going to complain about having to have chaos right now, but we'll look into that. But
he's a hammer tank.
Huh?
The CEO's a hammer tank, but we won't tell him he's a noob.
Chaos.
For the Ox weapons coming up, we're going to have the ability for having follow-up attacks. So your first attack will apply something, and then something else will happen. So your actual hotbar will switch around, which we think will be pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then we'll be using that more and more. So that's about all I can probably say.
Yeah, we don't want to reveal exactly what the weapon is, so that you don't ruin my next state of the game, because I'm going to have something to talk about in that one. But it's pretty exciting, guys. We have tons of cool features, and we still have. I guess I would say that one of the differences between the launch of Age of Conan, which I was there for, and the launch of Secret World, is that we had a lot of tech stuff that we needed to fix on the engine side with Age of Conan. So we didn't have coder resources available for new features. With the Secret World, we have coders available who are able to give us cool new features, as long as we write decent designs for them. So it's really helpful, and it means that you'll see really exciting features coming into the game going forward. I mean, as a part of our monthly updates, we aim to release features as well. And it's kind of, it's part of the fun of this project. I really like being able to, request features.
Yeah, and a lot of them you will not even know that there are features.
I mean, like,
Dresses, for instance. You would think that we would be able to do dresses.
You'd think dresses would be easy, but
they're not easy dresses, but you'll get them.
I mean, of course, like we still have lots of bugs to fix, and that there's recurring issues with the game manager and the chat that we sort of, but they aren't resource intensive to fix; they're just time intensive. So it takes a while, but it's not like it requires the whole core team to sort of focus on these things. So we have spare resources to make some new cool stuff.
Spare awesome resources. Yes. That's all I have to say about that.
There's one thing that I'd really like to tell you guys as well. Like I've read several times people that ask themselves why some NPCs are changing the looks and their face and everything. There's a very simple reason for that actually, and is that Aldini packs a punch and he likes to sleep around. So we.
Serious?
Yeah, that's
it. Go Aldini.
Yeah, go Aldini, go. I mean, have you seen the nurses? No, we had.
I've seen what he did to Madame Roger. She used to be hot.
Yeah, well, I hear that they started seeing each other a little bit, so I wouldn't be surprised if she changes.
Nice.
Yes. No, but we had to make a huge amount of NPCs in a very short time, and we are committed to improving the quality. That's the reason why some of the NPCs will change and their appearance is slightly. That's it.
Okay.
Oh, we say it's a living and breathing world.
We say it's a living, breathing world, and plastic surgery is a part of it.
Yes.
All right. Well, I think that we're going to wrap this up now. Is there any final huge questions that you see there, Davida, that I have to answer? Burning questions of the soul that that people have, or should we just say goodbye and say that next time I'm passing on. Oh crap! I'm in the AOE storm of infinite hell.
Yeah, I think the last one thing, but I don't know if we can really talk about it. It's cabal housing and player housing.
Yeah. Let's not talk about it.
Yes,
let's not talk about it until we have some more concrete plans for that.
Yes.
Because I can say that we've definitely talked about it. We have people assigned to writing designs for it, but it doesn't mean that it's going to come in anytime soon, and it could be very expensive.
You're talking about it, man.
So yeah, lip seal. And I died just in time to leave.
As a parting word, I would just tell all the players to be kind to any tank hammer chaos that wants to do nightmare.
You toss out your name so somebody else.
No, I won't say my name, but
he doesn't want to say his name because he'll suddenly have 1 million friends. Cool. But thank you very much, guys, for tuning in. I hope we've given people some put people's minds at ease and given them a good look at how the reticle combat system, which is coming in issue 4, looks. We've talked a little bit more about PvP changes to Fusang, some of the new stuff that's coming in over the coming months, and it's very much appreciated that you guys take the time out of your day to sit in and listen to us waffle on for an hour. So thank you very much. The next live stream will be happening soonish. We'll announce dates closer to the day, and I actually won't be involved in that one. I'm gonna pass it off to some of the developers over here to do more of the live streaming. The next one that I'm figuring out is one of the dungeon designers and one of the PvP designers. So you'll be able to hammer them with questions about both dungeons and PvP, and maybe we'll throw in a systems designer as well, just to spread the heat a little. All right, cool.
Then, talking about Excel sheets. Yeah, very, very interesting.
Cool. All right, thanks very much, guys, and have a very, very good weekend.
Yes. Enjoy the game.
Yeah, enjoy the game.